Hey everybody, it's Jesse again, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm going to talk about why an apocalypse is an absolute certainty. There's no getting around it. It's coming. The only question is when. That's the only real question. It's inevitable. And I know from my own personal experience as a younger person, all of this society and our country and the world, it all seemed eternal. All this stuff, it just seems like it's going to last forever. It's never going to end. But that is far from the truth. And if you look at history, go back and study history, even on a shallow level, you'll see that society has risen and fallen multiple times. It's just the nature of the beast, either due to societal collapse, the collapse of an empire like the Romans and many other empires before and after them, or due to some kind of natural calamity, an asteroid, certain things like that. So basically, it's just a waiting game, and if you pull back away from society, away from the earth, and look at it from a universal perspective, I mean, we're just a tiny little thing and a tiny little ball of dirt spinning around the sun, and stuff happens. It's not that consequential to us. To me as an individual, the collapse of society, an apocalypse, would be life-changing, life-altering. But in the universal scheme of things, it wouldn't even matter. It would just be so inconsequential that it wouldn't even be a blip on the radar, right? And these things just happen. It's the natural course of events. And history has proven that. You can't look back at history and think anything else. And if you add into that all the different ways that we could experience a collapse. I mean, a grid down scenario where a bad actor, say through a cyber attack or an EMP detonated in the upper atmosphere, could put down our grid, and they could do both at the same time, honestly. And that's just one way that an outside force, an outside actor could cause an apocalyptic scenario here. And from what I understand, I'm not deeply knowledgeable about this, but from what I understand, we're not well protected against cyber threats. It would not be impossible for someone to do that. I think more of the thing that stops outside actors from doing that is our economic force around the world. Because if the United States collapses, then the rest of the world will feel it in a bad way because they've got this global economy now. And there are so many other ways that it could happen that it's just mind-boggling once you go into it and start thinking about it and thinking about all the different ways, asteroids and all this other stuff, and just complete societal meltdown. It seems like now that society is like a bubbling pot, like a pressure cooker. And it would just take the slightest thing to make it explode. And I read a book about the grid down scenario a while ago where they detonated a nuke. I think it was Iran in the book, detonated a nuke in the upper atmosphere and shut down the entire eastern seaboard, the East Coast. And it went off of that, the government, and of course the government would probably be already situated over there on the West Coast, because I doubt much happens without their knowledge. Just my skepticism, my cynicism. If any of y'all have read that book, and I've tried to remember the title of it. I don't remember the title, but I'd like to read it again. Yeah, I read it decades ago. So if any of y'all have read that book recently and you remember the title, please put it down in the comments for me. Back to the certainty of an apocalypse. It has to happen. There's no doubt. Even a large CME. I mean, the sun's throwing stuff out constantly, and a lot of the reason we don't have asteroids is because Jupiter is out there. It's so big, it protects us, but once in a while they get through, those asteroids get through. And then you have all the political and economic turmoil. They've complicated our economic and political systems to such a degree that it can't be self-sustaining in my mind. It cannot be infinite. It cannot just keep chugging along. There's got to be a real upheaval and a reset, a change. It can't keep. It's like like a watermelon balanced on a toothpick. It's just it can't continue being propped up, and that's going to be something that we're likely to face in the short-term future. All these wars now, there are a lot of wars fought economically now. A lot of battles, let's say. We don't call them wars, we call them battles. Battles are fought economically. And we didn't really have that as much in the past. And all it's going to take is one slip up here or there to upset the entire world economy. One bad actor, one mistake, one, somebody put a decimal point in the wrong place or something. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's this huge monolithic structure that can't be upset, that is just braced against the tides and the wind and everything. No, it's a crickety, reekety old building that's on weak foundations, and it's just waiting for the right breeze to collapse it. Built of many different materials and by many different peoples, and it's not sturdy at all. And that's what a lot of people fail to realize, is that everything around us, all this seemingly eternal society and the foundations everything is built on, they're not as solid and predictable as we think. This just cannot last forever. The only question is, when will it change? And you don't even have to call it, like I said, when you pull back and look at it, at the earth like a little ball of dirt, it wouldn't even be considered a collapse or anything. It would just be a change. It's just change. Humanity has survived many, many of these changes, and we always will, until we have to escape Earth, because Earth is no longer habitable because the sun is expanding or whatever in 1 billion years or 5 billion years, whenever that's gonna. But that's a certainty. And the other thing is that we have bad actors inside our countries. Australia, Great Britain, Norway, we have bad actors inside our country, especially with all this immigration lately. I mean, it seems like across Western civilization, they are trying to destroy Western civilization. I mean, when you look at all the different things that are happening and you add them all up, you put them together, it's by design. They are purposefully trying to destroy Western civilization, because Western civilization is built on democracy. It's built on people having a say in what happens to them. And if you want to destroy that, well, that can only mean that you want some kind of world dictatorship or something. You want worldwide socialism. You don't want people to be free. That's just common sense stuff that you can look at. You can look at what's happening today, and it's just completely obvious. The writing's on the wall. They are implementing policies, laws, and doing things to bring down Western civilization as a whole. And for people to keep ignoring this and saying that it can't happen and it's not going to happen, well, we're going to find out. Maybe not in my lifetime. I have no idea when. It might be another 100 years or 200 years. I don't know, depending on how strong the people are to resist it. The lengths the people are willing to go to keep it from happening. But it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. And I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. I sincerely appreciate it. If you have anything else to add, please put it in the comments. I enjoy commenting with y'all. I have a lot of fun. If you'd like to become a member of Gen X Thinks, I'll put that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and join up there. If you'd like to support the channel, you can hop over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I'll put that link down in the description too. Another way to support the channel is to click on that Super Thanks button down there. I sincerely appreciate those of you who do that. Thank you very much. If you're interested in Gen X gear, you can head over to Redbubble and check that stuff out over there. We've got Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded gear, coffee mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, all kinds of cool stuff. I'll leave that link down in the description for you as well. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. Thank you very much for those of you who do that. It helps out a lot. If you've got any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments, or you can email us, and the email's over on the channel page. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.